छाया आसमां देखो झूमता गगन है छाया आसमां देखो झूमता गगन
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology. You are in the Star Room. And it is Saturday night, August 9th. We are going to finish burning my stuff. I did my clearing and now we're pulling in. We are going to pull in whatever we can. No, not whatever we can. Some good vibes, some high stuff. So it's, we just had a full moon, right? Full moon weekend. Full moon in Aquarius. Anybody have any big releases? Aquarius energy. I really thought for a minute like, this is interesting. I might not be doing a live stream Saturday night. We'll see what happens, technology. But here we are. Although I have to admit, the stuff's moving a little slow. Even my astrology software. Like I click on it and I'm just trying to move it a day. Just one click, move, please. And it's like a snail's pace. So before I get into the chat and see who's here, I just want to remind everybody, we do this every Saturday, except for the last Saturday of every month. Last Saturday of every month, we do the private lives. If you want to be in on the private lives, email me. The email address is down below. I probably should put it in the thing. Let me do that real quick. And it's a private live, literally. It's a smaller group of people. It's just more intimate. Oh, we got a kitty cat here. Wow, I'm really shocked she's in here with me burning stuff. This is Zoe. You guys don't normally get to see Zoe. Hey, what are you doing in here? What's going on? She took a smell and she's like, she didn't leave. She just turned around. Oh, that's too funny. Let me get this chat. Oh, see. All right. So let me make a comment here. All right. So yeah, you can email me at, I got to see if she's going to be funny with the candle like Taffy. Hey, careful now. These cats. Okay, yeah. So you can email and I can give you the details on the private lives, and we'll see, if you have questions or I can just clarify things for you and send you the details. But it is limited space. So the one for August is already full. Okay. The September one, I have to double check my stuff because some people book, when it's convenient for them in advance. Honey, there's a candle. You have to put okay, this one's just going to start climbing on top of stuff. She's like this, she's going to sit like this. She's literally perched like this is my spot. I put my elbow there. Hello. I have to put my elbow there because that's how I do charts. Holy crap. Okay. That works. Good girl. That works. She's expecting a body rub. Okay. So what was I saying? Private lives. If you want in on that, email down below. Okay, so we're going to start. I think we're going to be slow. I don't know. Every time I say that, people end up coming And I'm always like, "Ooh, maybe I can cut it an hour early tonight." Like, yeah, it's gonna be a short night. It's summer. People have stuff to do. I think somebody said something about mosquitoes earlier. I saw something and I was like, "Holy shit, tell me about it." Yeah, we are outside with CG, but the mosquitoes are on. Man, mosquitoes. Like, it's not even nighttime. Literally, in the daytime, I'm sitting there trying to water something with some of the plants and whatnot, just moving the hose around. And holy crap, the mosquitoes just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. They love me. And I'm like, stay away from me. I mean, I have bites all over my ankles. It's like, what the hell? Yeah. So, um, I know all about that mosquito not drama, mosquito pain. It's too much. Okay, so let's see what's going on and who's all here, and let's begin because we got a couple more people in the chat. I got a cat demanding 2 hands on her. Holy crap! When? Since when? Where's your sister? When she sits in here, she just quietly sits and glances every now and then. This one's meowing at me, demanding. She turned her head and she's like, "Meow, you need to be touching me." All righty. So teamwork, how are you doing? CG, what's going on? Magically intuitive. Okay. Stacy's here. What's going on, Mega? Steffi G is here. Hello. Starry Rumors. That's a good one. Starry Rumors. I like that. Teamwork said I am passing. All righty. I know I have like a knot in my hair or something. Lou S is in the house in the star room. What's going on, Lou S? I got an email from you. I haven't been able to read it or respond. I just was able to check stuff really quickly. Oh, right. The full moon. That's right. That's Stacy Allastrology passing. Okay. So far, we've got quite a few people passing, which means the chat goes fast. So if you're here and you want your turn, get in the queue, kid. Do you see her looking at me? Look how serious she is. Look at her. Look how serious. Look at her. Look at her. Are you serious? Huh? Do you think that's the way it works? Say, that's the way it works around here, dang it. That's the way it works around here. Where's your big sister at? Yeah, I call Taffy her big sister because Zoe acts like she's 6 years old. All right. Teamworks. Yeah, okay. We got you. We got you. Stacy's passing. So that means we're up with Magically Intuitive first. That's what I've gathered so far. Lou S. Okay, yeah, we might have a short night. Okay, hope you are okay. Where are we at? Lou S. Got the oh. So for those oh, she's talking to everybody. All right. Okay. I'm scrolling. Gibson's here. Gibson, are you coming on tonight? Because this chat's going fast. It looks like most of these people have passed already, to be totally honest with you. Magically Intuitive's up, and she's like, I am here. Let's just get on the ball. Not many here, but Magically Intuitive. So let's start there. Magically Intuitive. Let me get you the link if you want it. If not, don't worry about it. This kitty cat's going to drive me crazy. What's going on, Gibson? Gibson said I'm passing. How have you been? What? Could you hear her? She has a very soft meow. She's not like unless she's hissing at Taffy, and that's a hiss. Because Taffy just does not anyway. She can be a little yeah, I don't know how to explain it. When she's checking out another cat, it gets serious. Tell her hi from another cat in Arizona. Yeah, don't you have a couple of kittens or cats by now, right? Zoe, the other kitty cat, is saying hey. You should have seen Zoe earlier. She was running from window to window because you can tell when there's a cat in the yard. This one, and to watch her trot, it's hilarious. It is so funny. I don't know how to even explain it, but she has this very serious, like, don't bother me. I'm working right now. Do you know, like there's no getting her attention. She's on the prowl. And it's not like a, I don't even know how to explain it. She just looks very militant, like she's a freaking soldier on patrol. It's really funny. It's really funny. I know I'm shaking shit everywhere. All right, let me get to work here. So did I put that link in there? I probably didn't. Oh, I did. Okay, great. All right. So, oh, magically grabbed it. Let me get on the ball. Hello, hello.
Hello? You can hear
Magic.
me?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing okay. I'm hanging in there. We are surviving. What are we checking out for you?
September.
September. Magically, yeah, I should have pulled your chart up, but I didn't. So let's go grab that real quick. Do you have a specific question for September?
No, but I know the eclipse is in September.
How do you know that?
I saw your video.
So do you have something there? Is that what you're saying? You're like, oh damn, I think I have something.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, let's check it out. Let me get your chart. The M's, the dang M's, man. Whew. Okay, I got you. Whew, thank God. Sometimes I feel like I spend 10 minutes looking at, oh, where did it go? Select. It's dang software. Oh, yeah, it's just in slow motion. Okay, here we go. We got it finally. So let's get this on the screen and let's see where the eclipse happens for you. Okay, so September's eclipse. All right, let me see your stuff. All right, so you see your Pisces energy, right?
Yes, I think it's in my 11th house.
It is in your 11th, and you do not have anything in Pisces at the degree of the eclipse. It's at 15, right? However, you do have Saturn at 23, and I think I put an orb to 22 if I remember correctly. So this is close for you. But now when we flip down and look to the other energy of the eclipse, the Virgo energy, you have Chiron at 20 degrees. So just like in the video, when you hear about an eclipse, you really have to pay attention to both ends of it. Okay, so that's why I'm looking at your Virgo down here, because that's actually closer to the degree of the eclipse. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so by transit up in the sky, that means the south node is sitting here in Virgo at 18 right now. So you already had the south node on your Chiron in the 5th house. Creativity, children, fun, joy, romance. 5th house, sometimes people talk about automobiles and cars, not like just literally cars. Not it's I know it's confusing because I talk about cars with Gemini energy because it's local transportation, right? Short trips. But 5th house can literally be the automobile, but also like the taking a risk type of energy, having fun, and just, with Virgo there's some health stuff, but not necessarily, like Virgo is very down to earth and practical and very domestic energy, like around the house type of stuff. So your creativity using your Virgo qualities, right? Some Virgo people, they they use their creativity in some very like sewing, because it's practical, it's domestic, right? maybe making clothing or whatever and whatnot. But it's the fifth house. So the creative stuff and children, you have Chiron here. So maybe there's a wound about children, but because your Chiron's at 20 degrees, it speaks to like a past wound. I mean, Chiron's already about the past, but it's at a Scorpio degree. I'm trying to get the damn thing to light up. There it is. So it speaks of the past, but also a deep wound that reveals like a vulnerability that you have. And it's going to be with the Virgo stuff. So it's shared values at the 20 degrees, shared values. It's like a Scorpio vibration. So it's when we think shared values and we think domestic, because domestic is, we're cohabitating, we're living under the same roof type of energy, right? And
Yeah.
in the fifth house, romance. Okay. So whether this rings bells for you or not, but Chiron is the healer, but it's a wounded healer, you see? So the 20 degrees, usually, other than the wounds, it's about a change and a transformation that's happening. So I know it's complicated because it's like, okay, we got the North Node up there, and that's where the eclipse is, but I've got this down here. So what's happening? The Virgo energy brings up with the eclipse, I'm sorry, with the node going through it, it pulls up like a superpower, right? So what is it? A couple months ago, we had that node sitting there on your Chiron. You would have known. And the node could have helped you to release some of those past hurts and wounds connected with that Chiron energy in your fifth house. So whether you're using your creativity or whether you're, domestic pets, like little Zoe that was just in here, right? Like as if she's my little kid or something, because that's
Yeah.
Virgo energy, the domestic pets as well. But health in general. So, there may have been a relationship thing, like with romance that you went through that you've noticed it would have triggered something a couple months ago. Okay. But ultimately, it's for a healing, it's a release and a healing. So, with this eclipse for you specifically, having the North Node and that eclipse up there in your 11th and the Saturn close by, it's just off by a degree, and you got Chiron at the other end. I would say that the friendships, because 11th house is group energy and friends and social circles, which would be like spiritual stuff or people whose beliefs align with yours possibly, or even creatives, other collective creatives, because it's 11th house. My friends are creative, or they're deeply spiritual, or they're highly intuitive, right? We think Pisces energy. They have similar beliefs as I do, or I mean, I'm not sure how exactly you're using your Pisces energy, right? You might be, painting. You might be make believe in movies and fantasy and sound and music. Like there's a whole plethora. So with that Saturn energy there, that can be a job. It can be work, right? And if it's work, if it's a duty and a responsibility and it's in Pisces, that speaks to creative work or institutional work. Do you work for an institution within an institution? Because that's also Pisces, right? So
Yeah.
if that's what your concern is, whether it's about being personal or private, because it speaks to the friend's house, but you have that Saturn there. So there's some sort of responsibility and a long-term goal with that energy. So whether it's healthcare, whether it's hospitals, doctors, or just government job or institutional type of thing of society that you're working in, or you have friends that work in those fields, the eclipse energy says we're releasing because it's a lunar eclipse, but it's also at the same time kind of a beginning because it's part of the North Node. So even though we may lose something and release something, it's a promise of also bringing in something else, bringing in new people, possibly new opportunities, new work, possibly. But to be realistic, and I'm only making this comment because of just the way things are in general. Unless the United States gets its stuff turned around and gets its ass back on track, um, this is kind of like you know, it's kind of like a let go phase of releasing, because the building up and starting all over again process, well, that's probably going to take a while. But that just is if we stay on the trajectory that we're on. So I don't know if that helps you at all. The 11th house can be surprises, okay, other than friends, but it's different and unique and unconventional, okay? So do you find that for work that Saturn shows up for you that way? Where
Yes.
you said yes?
Yeah.
And are you concerned about work?
Sometimes I am.
So do you think this
Sometimes,
eclipse
yes.
is going to affect your current job?
I hope so in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah. Well, absolutely. That's what we want. We for sure. So you've got Jupiter down in your third, and then Venus is going to meet up with it. And you do have a couple of objects down here. Something at 17, 21, 23. So communication, thinking, possibly good news, bringing in good information. That's probably something that's going to come to fruition for you, because you have a lot of objects connecting for this grand water trine at 23 degrees, but you do have Nessus in your 7th house at 24 in water. So this looks like it could be a combination. There might be something ending, some closure of something, just an end of a cycle of some sort. And it doesn't have to be huge, but I think a big part is you knowing what happened when the South Node was on your Chiron. You don't have to share it here in front of everybody. But if you're aware of that energy, if you know what that was, whether you work with healing and health, whether it's with pets, who knows, with children, because you got Chiron there, whatever it was, that would probably be something that comes up again because of the trigger of the eclipse energy. Does that make
Okay.
sense for you?
That does make sense.
Yeah. So what I would suggest is just remember that you're going to have Jupiter over here. You already have it right here in your third house, but it creates a very supportive grand water trine that you already have in your chart. It's Jupiter and Venus together. And usually if Jupiter's trining the Saturn energy, and 23 degrees, even your Saturn, it is a very different, unique, but it is also at the Aquarius degree, which is surprises. So in other words, keep your options open. There can be surprises. It could be good surprises, but it can be a mixture of maybe something's ending, but then maybe there's good news and a new opportunity coming about because of that North Node in Pisces. I know it's walking away from your Saturn, but at the same time, it will start, like it's training your partnership energy right now. You have 18 degrees on your descendant. So the North Node is sitting here at 18 in Pisces, and it's training your partnerships. Okay. So in other
Yeah,
words,
I noticed that this week. I noticed, I don't know, like a difference.
you noticed a difference this week, you said?
Yeah.
Well, the 18 degrees is a big deal in your chart because you see your Mercury, you have a retrograding Mercury at 18 in Gemini. And what that means is the North and the South Node up in the sky, they're creating a square to your Mercury. Okay. So you say you've noticed a difference, whether it was good or bad or a change for the better for you. A square coming from the North and the South Node, and it's angling your Mercury like that. decisions, choices, options is normally what's going to be on the menu for you. And it's triggering the same houses, the 5th and the 11th house. So again, the 5th, children, fun, joy, creativity, romance. The 11th house is friends. So if this makes sense for you, then that gives you an idea, because Saturn can also be, someone you look up to. It can be a boss at the job, but for women, that can be somebody that we would marry even, because
Yeah.
we want to make a
And
long-term commitment. You follow?
yeah, I noticed it with my boyfriend. But you told me this last week.
That
I don't ever remember.
there would be a change.
Yes. I don't remember
And so you
your
feel like the
exact
change
word.
happened?
Yes.
So in other words, because I think if I remember correctly, you were talking, you heard from somebody from the past. Was that you, or everybody was on
No,
Love
that
Site?
wasn't me.
Yeah, see,
That was
I knew I
somebody
wasn't
else.
going to know it. Well, as long as it makes sense in your chart, like what I'm saying, as long as things make sense, and you said a change you notice has happened, the North and the South Node make those kind of changes. And it's with Mercury, so it's with our communication, with my mind, right? And values and love, because it's in your second house. So, yep, love American style. Hopefully it's been a change that you want.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good. And that's the whole point of the notes. It releases the past and it says, okay, we're thinking about the future now and we're going to move forward together or not. It's like one of those deciding moments. We either get stronger because of something and we say, hey, you know what? I realize I'm serious about this and I want to go forward with this and make it work, or we don't. And we kind of sever things, because Saturn can be serious that way when it gets triggered. So the other way Saturn occurs, though, is it says, I'm going forward. I want to make a commitment, and it's long term. That's Saturn. All right. I hope this has helped.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You have a good
Bye.
one. All right. Bye bye. All right. There we go. We're moving on. Toronto in the house. Steffi G is next. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Stacy. Is Steffi G here? Steffi G, are you here? Oh, thank you, Gibson. You've been great. Yeah, I just remembered. Remember, Gibson also had a love interest? That's all everyone's been talking about. Not you, Gibson, but like in general last week. And it's just been like, holy crap. What's going on? StreamYard? Okay, let me see something here. Hide the panel. Oh, okay. I get it. I can completely close that off. I kind of like that. They're always making these changes. All right, so let's move on. Where's Steffi G? Is she here? Yeah, no problem. I totally understand the tech. The last few days have been kind of a tech hell thing. And that's, the Aquarius full moon for sure. I mean, it hasn't been exactly horrible, but oh my God, the tech stuff with my mom has been bad. So Steffi says, I'm having tech issues, so I just have to completely pass. Gibson is next and last. Woohoo! Wow. Okay. Well, if there's anybody watching and who wants to get in on this queue, this is the last person on my list. So if you want to get in, now's the time to do it. Because if it's slow and nothing's going on, well, damn, I'm gonna. Gibson said I'm passing. Wow. Steffi said I'm watching from trying to type here. Mercury. I know. And it's not even just the retro. It's standing still, like it's about to go direct. So it's just sitting at these damn 4 degrees for like days. And it's just snail's pace retro. So it's just incredible is what it is. So strong. And it's just like, oh God, be done already. So yeah. like look at it. There's nobody. So I said, I think it might be a slow night. I mean, people, like I said, people got plans. People are enjoying the good weather. Conjunct my natal Saturn. Well, what was your question, Steffi? You're still watching on the tablet. You don't have to pick up the thing. I can throw your chart up here. What do you want me to look at? We can do it that way. If you're still sitting there watching on your tablet, I thought you were just like, I gotta go type of thing. Did you want to do that? Stacy says, do you want to tell me about my potential guy without his birth time? She said, no big question. No burning question, right? All right, Gibson. Gibson's like, take my name off of there already, damn it. There you go, Gibson. I guess Zoe finally was like, she's not reading my chart. That's what I was gonna say. Oh my God. No. Zoe was like, she's not petting me. I'm out of here. And that is totally Zoe. But she was trying to give me the taffy stare. All right, so let's see. Yeah, I was going to read Zoe's chart. Let's go to Steffi G's chart real quick. She said she doesn't have any questions, but since she can't get in here, I can still pull your chart up. Yeah, that's a good point. I wanted to mention that before we got rolling. Mars is in Libra, folks. You follow? Mars is in Libra. Is it bad? Does that say, is Mars in Libra a problem for surgery? A problem? Well, Mars would be considered in its detriment, right? And Mars is like the surgeon. So I guess it depends on, yeah, with our technology nowadays, if it's laser surgery, right, then we're not using a scalpel, then maybe Mars wouldn't be an issue there. Mars is all about the knives and stuff. Interesting. That's a good, Mars is in its detriment. Yeah, Mars is, but you can have things in your chart. Is this a question that pertains to your chart though? Only because my next, I'm sorry, my hair is like really, the fan was on when it was wet. And so it does that thing where it gets all wonk. Anyway. Oh, it isn't for you. Okay. I was going to say, I would want to look at your chart next to find out where Mars is in your chart. Do you know where this person's Mars is in their chart? Because that would be the next thing to check out, I think. Like, is Mars their great malefic as opposed to Saturn? You see? So if we know that Mars is their great malefic, and then we got to know what sign their Mars is. And these are things I would look at for sure. Before I were to be like, well, that means it's bad. Because there can be other things happening that really balance things out for the best. Okay, so let's see if we have okay, I know I have your chart. There it is. Yeah. Boy, it's so slow. So slow. Okay, and it's doing whatever it wants to do. All right, so here we go. Double chart whammy time. Yeah. Not only is Mars in Libra right now, but the moon, this is interesting. The moon is at 27 degrees in Aquarius. And on one of the United States charts, the one that everybody usually goes by, 4th of July and all that, their moon is at 27 degrees. So that's a moon conjunct moon for the US. And I haven't paid, there's just been a lot going on. I haven't had a chance to pay attention to any news or anything, and not that I try to, but. All right, Steffi. So you have Mars up there in your 9th house, thinking about the future. You have Venus in your 7th house at 11 degrees and Jupiter's at 13. Uranus is down there at 1 degrees. Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, you know what? Look at this. Persephone. You have Persephone retrograding over your natal Mars. This, I think, is interesting. Persephone is isolated, especially in Pisces. She feels isolation. She feels isolated. She feels like she's somewhere foreign, somewhere that's not home. She's out of her comfort zone even. That's like Persephone, where she had to learn how to make Hades her home. Doesn't mean you're in hell. It just means that you're somewhere different, or you feel like that. And so being conjunct your Mars, that speaks to, Mars is the actions that we take. So are you trying to find ways to be more isolated, or to be, Pisces wants to just get along, but also needs sometimes that literally isolation time, because you got a Mars in Pisces. But I know yours is expressed by sacrificing and volunteering and working in healing institutions. Like, that's been a big deal for you. But you have Persephone there. And I would imagine, maybe something changed at the job. I know you mentioned stuff before about you were like the only worker for however many people. And God, that's got to feel, maybe you don't feel isolated, but holy crap. It's one person and then all these other people that, interesting. I wonder if you perceive that. Oh, wow. So the node is on your pan. Okay. Oh, you got the sun going through your 8th house. Okay. Sun's up there going to the 8th house of the wounds and the trauma and the healing. Leo energy, healing the romantic stuff, deep bonds. The sun's focused on that. That can be positive. Say yes, yes, yes. Okay, so here's the other thing. You got Chiron retrograding. This isn't really new, though. But it's at 27, and so it's really lined up with your emotions and your feelings. It's on your 4th house cusp line. I think we actually mentioned that before. That would kind of be important, I think. The wounds, the emotional wounds. And fiery, so we can feel a little impatient even sometimes, right? Yeah, we kind of did a deep dive on this, actually. I remember now. It's kind of starting to flow back in. No, I'm too social butterfly. So you aren't. So, okay. Well, that's good then. That's good. Because it's retrograding. So in a retrograde, sometimes that can come out and be a little bit stronger. Have to wait until October 7th, my year to transfer. Wow. Well, look, you've got Black Moon Lilith at your midheaven. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so interesting. And you have that Uranus Pluto midpoint on your midheaven, too. Wow. Never a dull moment around this lady. Seriously. Wow. Okay. So you this is there's something there where you like exciting, new, and shiny in a way at your midheaven. So you it's kind of like that stir the pot energy, but at the same time doing something that's deeply meaningful and purposeful. Wow. Okay. But the black moon is there. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if you were aware of that. But yep, she's right there in a retrograde. Not that, I mean, well, actually, Lilith can move really fast now that I think about that. And so that could be a boss that might all of a sudden be like a pain in the ass or something. I mean, I don't know. It could be an authority figure, a parental figure, could be a spouse. But at the same time, it can sometimes, because it's relationship energy, and you got that Chiron at the opposition. So maybe this is energy that you're just so used to. It's not a big deal. You just roll with it, huh? Oh, Lilith is killing you. Well, I don't want to pry into your business. Anyway, like I said, can be boss, can be spouse, can be just, significant one-on-one relationships, really. Anybody that falls into that bracket, but probably masculine energy, though. And Lilith was at 28, now at 27. The good news is that she stops retrograding. Here, look, I just went to the next day, Sunday. She stops retrograding. So Lilith is killing me because she's standing still right now. So the retrograde is over starting tomorrow, and then she'll go forward again. So that's got to be positive, right? Lilith ending her retrograde. But to be honest, this is for everybody listening. We've had Lilith going through Libra and Scorpio energy and the Juno energy. Juno's been in Scorpio for it seems like it's been since the beginning of this year. And when you have, these are both relationship type energy, right? Scorpio, shared bonds, shared energy, shared money, shared, physical bonds, emotional bonds, financial bonds. I mean, it's bonded energy. It's going to be relationships, right? Whether they're positive or negative, it's going to be relationships. And then Black Moon going from Libra to Scorpio. Well, that doesn't make shit any better. That really tests stuff. It really does. It just, it totally tests it. So here's the other thing. That's at 13, right? Your vertex is at 13? Yeah, okay. So the sun already touched on that, so that's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm just trying to see, when are you finally going to get out of this, it's just, there's just been a lot of strong stuff that you've been in. And I guess getting Lilith gone. See, she goes right back into Scorpio and the note. So it's like Lilith and Juno are in Scorpio. Oh, so she goes to 25 and then starts retrograding. Okay. Yeah. All right. Of course. Of course she does. All right. Well, all right. Okay. So want to belong for once. Okay. So wanting to belong. So, do you feel like you're always on that search for where do I belong? Because you got Pluto in your ninth house. I'm going to turn off the transits so that we can understand this. This is about the core astrology of your chart. Yes. Yes. I agree. I see that. Yeah. See the Persephone she has, the friends and the Persephone energy? Persephone feels like she's not where she belongs, but so is Pisces. It is more, let's put it like this. We can be in a crowded room and still feel isolated, still feel alone, still feel like, okay, I'm at this party, I'm at this whatever, this social gathering because these people have the same common interests that I do. But at the same time, there can be something about it for you where you may not feel like you really belong, or that, like longing for my tribe type of energy. And I'm not sure if that's specifically what you were talking about, but when Persephone is in Aquarius, like yours is, remember Aquarius is unique and very original. So, well, that's like the trendsetter. That's the person who sets the bar, who sets the tone, who did it first. And so it's in your value, right? It's in these are my core values. This is who and what I value. And that combination can bring on a bit of the detachment. It's very fixed energy too. Very fixed energy. And yeah, you've got Pluto I would say this is a strong trine actually, because Pluto's all about always wanting to make changes. So wherever Pluto is in your chart, for everybody listening, that's an area, like what house number it's in, that is an area of your life that's always going to be changing, because you are going to always be initiating that change. It's deeply psychological energy. Yours is in the ninth house of my beliefs, the beliefs about my future, my spirituality, my religion, my higher learning, my seeking truth, right? Education. But it's in relationships. It's in relationships. So what that means is, and I'm not positive if this is, if this makes sense for you, but because of that constant change, and when Pluto makes a change, like it wants to do it in a very deep manner where you are definitely different when you get to the other side. Your beliefs will be different when you get to the other side. So it's a constant process of evolving and evolution, but in a deep, deep way. And with our beliefs, and when that's with our beliefs, it's going to change people and relationships, because it changes our energy and who we attract to us. And it trines your second house cusp line of friends, but it's the second house cusp line too. So you've got your second house cusp line at 12, and you've got Pandora at 14. So there's just this shift, because it's an internal thing for you. And your philosophy on life is a big part of that. And when people are constantly shifting and changing, it might be, just when you feel like you found your group, and, you may initiate a change where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I haven't found my group yet. I need to, I've already outgrown them type of thing, especially because you got so much Aries energy. Yeah. It can have that strong independent spirit, even though you've got a lot of strong unity within it. So I don't know if that made sense for you, or if that was the belonging you were looking for, but hopefully it made sense for you, amiga. Hopefully it helps you out. All right. Where are we going? Who's next? Is there anybody that's next? My Pluto and Virgo in the 9th. Aha. And how do you feel? I think we could probably say, because you've talked about it. Yeah, we've heard you talk about it. This is wild. We just all came here tonight. What's wild? What is she saying? This is wild. What's wild? That we all came here tonight? We're here every Saturday at this time, Lou. You're going to have to clarify that for me. I don't find it wild. I'm not sure. I must be missing out on some conversations here about the wild stuff. Natal Uranus and Persephone 3rd. Oh, is that the connection? The Persephone connection? Is that what it is? I don't know. Aliyah is next. Aliyah, I don't know who that is. Aliyah Asif. I don't know if I have your digits. Where's that person at? Aliyah, we are all Pluto and Virgo. Oh, Aliyah, do I have your digits? I don't think I have. Either you're here under a different name. You have your birth time? August 27th. Of course, August 27th, of course. What's the birth time and location? That's how, then I draw up a chart and we read your chart. Shazam, that's how it works. Oh, you don't have a birth time. You do have a birth time. Okay, do you have a location? Or is the no about the location? Yeah, I wasn't seeing any of the conversation that you guys were having with I'm so confused. Okay, is this your birth location? Is that it then? Yeah, that must be, right? I'm assuming. All right, let me create your chart for you real quick here. Let's get rid of that. And have you seen your chart before? Let's get this going here. Okay. You must have. You were talking with somebody about what you got in your chart, so that must be you. You must have seen it. Okay, so we've got an August 27th. Okay. I saw the time, but where did it go? There it is, 23:22. Excellent. PM. I know the system doesn't do military time. East St. Louis, Illinois. East St. Louis, Illinois. Look at that. I'm in Illinois right now. OUI. Can I spell is the question. Alrighty. Alrighty. Trying to preserve my eyeballs here. Trying to be very focused on no squinting. No squinting. All right. Did you say you saw your chart? Let's see if my software's on the unglitchy side. I've got a Gemini rising at 0 degrees. Holy crap. Let's get this up here. Is this you? 0 degrees. Ooh, look at all the Virgo energy. Woo. Look at that. That's a whole lot of Virgo. Wow. Aquarius moon at 3 degrees with the Persephone right next to it. Dang. Yeah, that kind of jumped out. And it matches the degree of your sun, 4 degrees. Oh, okay. That's a big quincunx with the moon and Persephone. Ah, dang. Okay. Wow. Mars and Venus in Leo. Geez, Mars, Venus, and Mercury all in Leo. Holy crap. Woo, you're going to have a Jupiter return. Whoa. Okay. All righty. You got a lot. You got a lot going on here. Big Virgo stellium. Pluto 17 in Virgo, Uranus 19 in Virgo. So the nodes, you had the south node on your Uranus energy. Yeah. And that means you got the node right now sitting at your Uranus, 18 degrees, Uranus and Pluto midpoint. So technology, astrology, Uranus, right? Shocks, surprises, but different and new. Almost like a thirst for something different and new. And that thirst for different and new, making a change, something exciting. And the exciting thing is just because it's different, right? So you probably, you would have noticed this starting back a couple months ago, actually. Because you've got stuff where the eclipses are. Speaking of which, we got an eclipse in Pisces up there. You don't have nothing at the eclipse point, but you got a couple of items here that fall within the orb. You've got a Pluto at 17, so there's deep changes. Is it your health? Could be. Children, fun, joy, creativity, and fun is probably coming up big. Maybe even pets. That's a possibility too. But changing your health routines and just your domestic routines and your, whether it's cooking, whether it's exercise, both gardening, shopping, whatever, just making some changes. And these changes are, well, they're making big changes because it's triggering the Pluto energy, right? So yeah, I've noticed on people's charts I've been reading that those, especially with this Pluto and Uranus next to each other like that, Uranus kicks off the ability to make these changes because it's like a thirst for something different. I'm tired of the old routine. It's not working anymore. I just have to do something different. And so we do something different. And those new routines and habits bring about a major transformation. And because it's the 5th house, children, fun, joy, creativity, romance. Yeah, feeling like a kid again, finding your joy in your happy place. Very good possibility. Ooh, getting much healthier. Lost 80 pounds. Good for you. Nice. Yeah, because the south node being there in the Virgo, that south node it brings in that Virgo knowledge. Get back to the basics. Be holistic. Don't, be just doing some of the most mundane, basic routine things, not just doing some of the basics and doing them really well is Virgo energy. It's stuff that doesn't have to cost a lot of money because it's Virgo. It's practical. It's logical. Yeah. And this would there's something about it that's probably fun, especially if it gives you the ability of feeling younger, feeling like a kid again. My happy place, right? Good for you. Woohoo. Say yay, yay. I mean, that's great, especially in this day and age. It just seems like, I don't know, there's just not enough positive news. And you have the node. Whoa, I get it. Okay, you have the North Node in Pisces trining your South Node. Oh, so that trine creates this change of this release and this let go. But because you have a South Node and Neptune together, this suggests that in the house of health, Virgo, by the way, and we're talking about Virgo energy because you have Scorpio there, this suggests that you go through these cycles of this. Because Pisces is the actor. So you can change costumes, which means changing an appearance. Yeah. And not to mention Uranus in Gemini, right? Yeah, Uranus in Gemini. On your ascendant in your first house. I've seen people when they get the Uranus going through their first house. And it's almost like, because Uranus can be older, but it can also be younger. You know, it can be younger like young adult energy, you know, like 18, 19, 20, like college student age in a way, or super old, you know, like senior citizen stuff. So having it going through your first house, yeah, you could absolutely be looking younger. Loving the high energy. Good for you. Wow, that's great. Well, I'd say this is your chart. I'd say this is your chart. So what I love about your chart for you, other than you're going to have a Jupiter return, wow, what a beneficial time it seems like you're having coming up, is that Venus is actually your great benefic in your chart, not Jupiter. But you're going to have Venus and Jupiter together. So your great benefic, Venus, is going to get a Jupiter boost. And it's going to happen on your third house cusp line. Communication with family, coworkers, neighbors, sibling, just peers, friends, neighbors, housemates, classmates, people that you talk to. But it's got like some tribal energy. So there's history here. And tribal means like, other than the history, we energetically vibe, right? Like there's some emotional stuff that we kind of, it just aligns, you know, and we have like this soul connection. And because of that soul connection and Venus being there and Jupiter being there, it increases all of that. It increases it. But for you, as Venus is your great benefic, Venus can bring gifts. So it can bring beautiful communication because it's in the going through your third, beautiful communication, which can feel supportive, peaceful, and harmonic. Like that's Venus. She wants harmony. And so Jupiter can add to that. The only thing I would be cautious about, because Venus is love, Venus is my money, I would be cautious with the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the third house. Third house. I'm online. Third house, social media. So I'm saying caution to that because if we're talking to someone and people, you know, the Jupiter energy can go overboard, right? So someone can be whispering sweet nothings in my ear type of thing. And it's like, it was the Jupiter effect. Once Jupiter moved, it ended. That could be a thing. I didn't even look at your, oh, right. The degree of your private Jupiter is 24. That's the Pisces degree, which means, well, there can be a beautiful energy of understanding and unity. There can be idealism, big time. There can be a great amount of wisdom and just like past life knowledge and history that your soul has with that Jupiter at 24. But at the same time. I would be cautious. If something sounds too good to be true, use time to test it and to see. Only because it's going through your third house of thinking and communication and talking. And third house is also sales, the stock market. Sometimes when we have stuff going through the third house, we're trying to think of ways to make money, right? We're trying to be clever. And, you're just being smart. That's all. You're just being smart because Jupiter can really kind of exaggerate things sometimes. It doesn't mean someone's pulling the wool on you or someone's going to take advantage of you. It just means you're being smart with your values. Okay. So you have Mars going through your fifth house. Oh, fifth house. And Mars is there. You had it going through Virgo. So physical, being active, taking maybe a risk with my body even, right? Performance energy. Performers. Yeah, that's that fifth house energy. Maybe being a little more daring because Mars is already daring. Mars is the daredevil. Mars can be impatient. So it was a good question that Steffi asked about Mars. Mars is in a weakened condition when it is in Libra energy because it rules Aries, right? So it's in its opposition. So it's weakened. It's called its detriment. And I find that when Mars is in Libra, I think I don't know. In my chart for me, I've seen it come across where I'm grateful that Mars is in its detriment, to be totally honest, because Mars can be so impatient. And if you have impatient Mars in Libra energy, it doesn't do real well. Mars wants to be solo. Mars wants to be, that's that soldier. It wants to fight, wants to go to battle, right? And in Libra, partnerships, well, where the hell does Mars play a role in that? How does Mars fit in partnerships then? Well, it's a blessing that it's in its detriment because then Mars kind of will consider the other side actually and consider somebody else's thoughts and feelings and emotions before it's impulsively just, takes action with what it wants to do or what it thinks and believes and whatnot. So, yeah, I know it has a lot to do with an individual's chart. Mars is not your great malefic. Saturn is. Saturn is your great malefic, actually. And what degree is your Saturn? 27. Okay. Well, the Saturn retrograde, yep. Saturn's going to go and get into Pisces, and then it's going to pass over. So you had a Saturn return, but your Saturn return isn't over because Saturn's doing a retrograde. It goes back and sits right on your Chiron. So that's a wound with friends. A wound with friends. Group energy. It's at the Pisces degree too, 24 degrees. My gosh. You got a lot of that in your chart. A lot of that Pisces energy. Well, hopefully you use that creative energy. Just remember that about Pisces. Very creative energy. Yeah. In the night chart, it's the Saturn. When the sun is below the horizon, that's your night chart. And that's Saturn as the great malefic. Thank you for asking that. That clarifies it for people who aren't sure. And if you don't pay attention to it, you forget it. Use it or lose it, right? Yep, so it matters. So what that would suggest is the Saturn retrograde. That might have been a kickoff point when it first went over, because it first would have touched your Chiron and then it went to your Saturn. So when Saturn hit your Chiron, that there might have been something there that kind of felt restrictive. There might have been something there that brought up some wounds from the past. And well, Pisces is healing an institution. So hospital energy, maybe it was somebody else that got sick. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, hell, I mentioned it last week. I lost a friend who was an astrology mentor for me. And yeah, it wasn't someone that I had talked to recently, like like since the pandemic, actually, now that I think about it. Last time I saw this person was before the pandemic. And yeah, I mean, Pisces energy. Yeah. 11th house, we can lose friends. Yeah. Things change, they get fuzzy. 1 minute there, next minute not. That can happen. I feel more in tune with my lunar phases. Well, you have a 3-degree moon, and it's in Aquarius. So the moon energy in Aquarius, it doesn't talk about just your emotions, but it involves your mind. It involves the way your brain is firing and wiring, even with that Aquarius energy. It's unconventional and different and exciting. And remember, your Uranus in Virgo at 19, your Uranus rules that Aquarius energy that your moon is in. And Uranus energy is about sudden and shocking and surprising. So when the moon shifts, because you have an Aquarius moon, yeah, I could see how you would feel the shifts. I could totally see that. I could see how it may affect you, especially when we talk about our gut health, even because of all that Virgo energy you have, and you have Uranus and Pluto there, and how your emotions may also affect that. It's a possibility. Yeah, it's possible. Oh. "19 degrees of Scorpio." Yeah. Wow. I just realized you had Sirius on your second house cusp line. Wow. It's right on it. Sirius is how we nurture ourselves, how we feel nurtured, how we nurture others. And yours is in Gemini. So it's talking, communication, thinking, learning. Gemini, big time, love, learning energy. But your Sirius is even at 24 degrees too. So it takes on more Pisces energy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh no. Whoa. What was that? Did lots of shadow work, 2016. My 3 sons all admitted to the hospital same weekend. Husband was away. Holy crap. Oh no. That's a lot going on. I have no clue what is the night chart. Yeah, well, let's pop this back on to give you an example. Okay, so I don't usually refer to it as a night chart. It's just different words, okay? Different words being used. So let me get this comment off of here real quick. There we go. You see how her sun is below her, him, I'm not sure. See how the sun is below See, like this is the horizon line where your ascendant and your descendant just draw a black line across, right? That's the horizon. So below the horizon, it's nighttime. You follow? So when a person's sun is below that horizon, so meaning if the sun is in the first through the sixth houses, they call that a night chart. You follow? And with a night chart, Saturn is the great malefic. And Venus is the great benefic. They work in pairs. Saturn and Venus work together. And then the other pair for a day chart, the opposite, which means the sun would be above the horizon line. It's daytime. The sun is up. We can see the sun in the sky, right? The pairing is Mars and Jupiter. So the Jupiter is the great benefic, but Mars would be the great malefic. Did I just say that right? Yeah, benefic, malefic. That's right. In my head, I heard it a different way after I said it. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think the chat is moving really slow or something. I don't know. This freaking Mercury's killing me. Although I really should retrace that. It hasn't. I have lived through much worse Mercury. Whoa, holy shit. I did not even know this cat was in this room. And all of a sudden she appeared out of nowhere and she's back for more. What are you doing? What did you do with Taffy? Where's Taffy at? Huh? Where's Taffy? Where's your sister? Where's your sister at? Huh? She likes this. She's like, oh, yeah, I got two hands on me now. That's what I wanted all along. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I got to use my hands now. All right. Hey. Okay, be good. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so glad your boys are better. Yeah, right? What the hell was all that crap? Hope all your sons healed. Yeah, what? Man, all at the same time. Hopefully it wasn't serious. I mean, things could get really serious really fast. So all suns below the horizon have Saturn as their malefic and Venus as their benefic. Absolutely. Yeah, and I've just never referred to, so if your sun is below the horizon, that's a night chart. You follow? Hello. She's back to giving me the stares. I'm going to stare back at you. You stare back and what happens? She looks away and acts like she was never looking at you. All of a sudden, she's looking everywhere but at you. Look at, she's turned her head now. She's like, I wasn't looking at her. Zoe. She tries to stare you down. But I think it works with all cats. If they're looking at you, just stare right. It's all about eye communication with cats, man. You don't even have to talk. Just look right back at them. With cats, you can use the mom look. That's the beauty of cats. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to. You just give them the mom look. And they will look away and pretend like they're busy all of a sudden cleaning themselves, doing something like yeah, it's funny as hell. It's funny. Zoe, they all see you. She thinks you don't see her. Do you know what Zoe does? This is so fun. I find it hilarious. She'll go in the bathroom and she's on the ground just outside the tub. But you know, the shower curtain's there, right? So she's standing against the tub, but inside the shower curtain. But she's not in the tub. So here's the tub. Here's the base of the tub. Here's Zoe, right? Like this. And then here's the shower curtain. You follow? So she's standing between the shower curtain and the tub. And you'll go into the bathroom and you'll just see like her two front paws underneath the shower curtain. And she thinks that nobody knows that she's there. And it's so damn funny. So when I see her, I'll go to the shower curtain and I'll peep in from the side. And then she'll realize that I'm staring at her, right? And of course, She immediately like looks away, like as if, don't look at me. I'm not here. You can't see me. It's so funny. And she just thinks she's so slick and tricky that way. It's hilarious. And I often find cat litter in the other bathroom in the sink. Like, what's cat litter doing in the sink? Because Zoe will go in that sink, in that bathroom, right? What do you think you're doing in there? Are you trying to get a bath? Are you trying to drink water out of the faucet? It's so funny. Yes, the paws under the door. Yeah, that too. Well, with them, we don't close any doors really, except like, yeah. Even tonight, I got the door cracked open because there's nobody home but me. So I don't have to worry about sound. And I didn't want, it's just easier having the door open because normally Taffy, oh my God. That's why we haven't seen her tonight because the door is open. Yeah, it is. It's total cat behavior. We all have a cat named Zoe. Is that what she's saying? Well, actually, Zoe isn't my cat, but she's one of my housemates, huh? Yeah. All right. So it looks like, is there anybody else? Because if not, like, yeah, it looks like Mercury's gifting me tonight. Mercury's like, hell yeah, we're in a retrograde. It's summertime. Yeah, I would love, I mean, I was just thinking how, I mean, it is really warm out here right now, though. Being out in the evening air, I was remembering the comment earlier where she was saying the mosquitoes and geez, man, they were just attacking the hell out of me. And it wasn't like it was even near sunset. You know, sometimes at dusk you can tell like they really start coming out because there's shadow increasing. Oh no, this was early in the day, early, and the mosquitoes just. Whew. Yeah, you are welcome. Hello, can we please get the tail out of the face? What? You have to watch the tail. Yeah. Sit down and sit nice. You going to sit nice? Are you going? You can go. You are free to roam. Absolutely. She wants to be the star. Well, I'm the only human home. I'm the only human home. And therefore she wants attention. She wants attention. I know. It's so funny. All right. You are welcome. Yes, you are so welcome. I'm kind of curious with my chart right now. You're kind of curious. Drawing momentum. What's going on, drawing momentum? You're curious with your chart? Well, if you want, I can take a quick look. I'm about to sign off because it's a slow night and I'm going to take advantage of it. I am going to take advantage of it. Absolutely. My days have been, my schedule's really changed. My days are way earlier than they used to be. And by this time at night, man, I'm up way past my bedtime. I'll put it like that. When I started doing the live streams, like, yeah, I'd be up. I mean, my schedule was insane. You know, sleepless nights, just my schedule was insane. Yeah, well, let's take a quick look at your chart here. Do you want the link, drawing momentum? I can't remember if you used the link or not, but I'll throw it down here for you. I think that's what I'm going to do if you want it. So Aquarius 16 degrees. So you just had the full moon. Aquarius at 16. Yeah. How did that go? It's a done deal already. Although, yeah, you're still under the influence. Oh. Oh, you're having a huge fire where you're at. Oh, shit. Okay, that's not good. All right, let's see this chart real quick here. Yeah, that fire stuff is scary business. I mean, yeah, it's scary business. And right now, just a lot of extremely unstable energy. In general, which, you know, makes people feel vulnerable with so much uncertainty. It really does. All right. There you are. I'm like, okay, I've seen this chart multiple times. Oh, just give me a minute. The software is doing, it's working at half speed. Okay, there it finally came up. Let's see if it shows for you. There you go. Okay. Alrighty, so let me get the transits going here for you. Okay, so the moon right now is sitting. You have it's a Persephone night, guys. It's the wildest shit. It's Persephone night. The moon is sitting on your Persephone. You have a Persephone at 28 degrees, and the moon is sitting there. So let me see what you've got going on with some other stuff here. Some other aspects. Black Moon Lilith retrograding, going into your 7th house. Actually, she's not going to go into your 7th. She stops at 27 and stays in your 8th. Okay. Pluto at 2. Okay. Sun in your 6th house. All right. Okay. Venus and Saturn, we're going to be, I'm saying Venus and Saturn. Venus and Jupiter are going to be in your 5th. All right. You got a Taurus moon at 8 degrees. Okay. So 28. Okay. I'm looking. You got the Saturn retrograde. Okay. All right. So you started off your Saturn return at 25 degrees in Pisces. And Saturn will go back to your Saturn, the retrograding Saturn. It's going to be a little bit of time before it gets there. And the Saturn is those long-term goals. But it's my foundation, my stability, my long-term goals, but my long-term security is my Saturn energy. And yours is in your 1st house. So let me take a look at some other stuff. So your natal Jupiter's at 29. Okay, so that's what's creating. You got, this cat, I'd never know. White Moon Lilith is sitting on your retrograde Jupiter. Okay, Mars is in your Libra now. Okay, let me keep looking here. You got Chiron retrograding over your 2nd house cusp line. And Chiron goes back. Yeah, it does go to 26. Let me see how far she goes. I think it's just a couple of degrees. She does go over your 2nd house cusp. Okay. So Chiron does represent a wound. And you do have Chiron going over your 2nd house cusp line. Alrighty. You also have something here. You have Jupiter and Uranus at 26 in Leo. Okay, what do you got up here? Alrighty, that's at 28. All right, let me see. Cancer energy. Home and family, Gemini energy. Uranus is over there. Okay. What degree is this? Okay, it's at 6. All right, your Nessus is at 6. Okay, so that's good that it's at 6 and not. I'm trying to get this to click up. Okay. Alcyone at 29 in Taurus. Okay. So we've got these two sitting here, and all right, you don't have anything that way, and then you don't have anything. I keep looking and looking and looking, and I'm looking to see, because, if you think something major is going to be occurring, like there's a Pluto event, right? Destruction of some sort. You're usually going to see a lot of things connecting and making contact, whether it's a trine or square, right? You usually see a lot of different things. And so far, I do see vertex that just touched your 4th house cusp line. The vertex moves very fast. Very fast. Like in an hour, it's going to be in Cancer energy. And the hour after that, it'll be in Leo energy. Vertex moves through signs so quickly. So going through your 4th house property, right? That's kind of what I think your concern was. I'm making dinner. Yeah, I do have PayPal. I don't think I have it down below in the details, but if you go to my email, allastrology@gmail.com, then I can communicate that. Yeah, 88,000 acres is crazy. Yeah, the drought. Yeah, absolutely. Right, that's scary stuff. That's really scary. Yeah. So Chericlo is retrograding. Did you see her? Did you see her tap me on the side of the head? What's with you in that, huh? She's like, but you're not touching me. I want you to touch. Here, sit up there on me. Sit up there. Get your other paw up there. There. See? That makes you feel like you're, yeah. Is that better? My gosh. Oh, yes, I know. See the Chericlo right here? 18 degrees retrograding. Well, she's retrograding back over Fortuna and Venus. Okay. All right, we got that. That's hold on a minute. That's not right now, though. Let me back this up a little bit. Okay. Right now, she's at 19. Right now, she's at 19. But you do have Venus and Fortuna together, and you have something at 17. Oh, you have Hermes at 17. You do have some connections happening here now. This Chericlo is getting close enough to talk to your Fortuna. And we've talked about Fortuna in the past, where our fortunes can swing high and low. This Chericlo is also talking to your Gemini at 19 degrees. I mean, your lot. I'm so sorry. This is your I called it a part of fortune. Or maybe I didn't, but that's what it is. Part of fortune in Gemini, 19 degrees. So your local community, your neighbors, but that's conjunct your 4th house cusp line, actually. Whew, that's too close for comfort. Okay, so here's another thing. We have Juno up in the sky, but it's moving direct. Let me see how. See that Juno up in the sky, shared property, shared resources. It's squaring your Venus and your Fortuna. It's squaring the group energy. And across the way. Okay, so you don't have anything across the way. Let me see about the opposition to that Taurus energy. Your nodes are at 12. They're not in the teens. They're not like at 16, 17, 18, or 19. Yeah, this looks like, oh, well, look at, when is this? August 12th. What's today? August 9th? So Fortuna in Leo is going to be coming up. See the Fortuna here? It's going to be coming up on your Juno. Juno is your partner. And then Venus enters your fifth house with Jupiter. And it's in Cancer. So that is property. And I think in your chart, is it your chart? No, it wasn't your chart. Okay. You do have that Jupiter at 29. Yeah, you have Jupiter sitting right here in your fifth house. And the part of fortune is right there. This is tonight. Let's see what you have at the opposition. You do have some stuff up here in Capricorn. Yeah, Vega's up there at that 14 degrees. And that is Capricorn energy. That is, my long-term financial stability. But it's in the house of friends. You follow? But it's masculine energy. It's your goals. Yeah, it's in the placement of friends. So, yeah. You don't have, okay, you got this stuff here, 20. The only thing that gives me concern, like it was saying when I talked about Cheroklo in this part of fortune and the Fortuna, is that they are all connecting because of Cheroklo. And Cheroklo is a witness. It's somebody who watches others. And again, Aquarius energy, more friend energy, who watches others going through something horrible. Or somebody who's in pain, somebody who's suffering, something undesirable, which absolutely, and it's not just the people, it's the wildlife too. And you've got your Uranus and Pluto are in your seventh house, Uranus at 24, and you've got the South Node at 18, so you already lived through, you made it through all the Mars energy going through there, the partnerships. Okay, so when it comes right down to it, the South Node up in the sky and the North Node up in the sky, they will be like this South Node of releases and ending and letting something or someone go and then bringing on something or someone new. It's not happening tonight or tomorrow or the next day. The nodes are going to be connecting to your nodes. but it's going to be some months before that happens. You follow? But a big change does come when that happens. And your North Node is in your second house of values. Love, desire, money, values. And it's partnerships that kind of trigger that. But it's practical partnerships. So this can be the marriage partnership, professional partnerships. It's practical partnerships that trigger it. So something about that. But again, that's looking kind of down the road there. So this looks, just by looking at this chart, and again, there's lots of other charts that would have to be looked at, but just by looking at this chart, it looks like a close call. And you may be, like I said earlier, observing others going through it. But because your part of fortune is right at 19, it's, it could be friends and neighbors and coworkers and stuff like that, and peers, people within your local community even. But yeah, without looking at with just this chart, that's, yeah. I feel like that's all I'm going to say about that. Just because I don't feel like I have enough information just by looking at this to talk about something like that to that degree. I'd have to look a little bit further. The date I was robbed also, our dog is dying soon. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that would be a struggle. Well, hopefully the dog is out of pain and not suffering. I know it sucks. They're part of the family, It sucks. I don't want humans to suffer. I don't want the animals to suffer either. Yeah. Yeah. Cats 420, I see you there. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good time. A good night. Yeah. We are we're winding down. It's a slow night. We're winding down. Yeah, wow, everything's moving slow. The astrology, the frickin' Mercury standing still. Yeah, what makes me feel kind of optimistic, drawing momentum, I don't know if you're still here, is that when I looked at the Uranus traveling through your third house of your local community and neighbors and stuff, you don't have anything near the degrees of where Uranus is right now, like in your natal chart. You don't have anything at the 0 or the 1 or the 2 or even the 3 or 4 degrees of Gemini energy. So, because Uranus would be like, yeah. Well, I guess it's not a shock and a surprise, but Uranus can be, for sure, it can be something sudden and unexpected, even though you might hear about it in advance, right? We hope and we pray it never happens to us, but hopefully having that Venus and that Jupiter going through your 5th house, the 5th house of luck, hopefully it kind of gives you some protection and a benefit, because you do have with your chart, you do have some strong water trines, and maybe that'll be beneficial for you. We will definitely try to send you some good energy too, that you stay safe. For sure. Yeah, the Saturn retrograde. Yeah. Well, it's in your first house. Yeah. And it's going to be a little bit of time before it hits your Saturn, but yeah, that retrograde. When the retrograde is there, it just creates, it's restrictive. Saturn, the responsibilities they load up. We're less free to do whatever we want. And they say that Saturn is fear. I've read it so many times where they'll say Saturn is fear. So if it's a retrograding Saturn, it kicks it up a notch even more. And that's not to say that it's not a realistic fear. I'm just, there's nothing worse than, because of fire. It's like, what do you do? Will Chiron go back to your natal Chiron? What do you got a Chiron at? Your Chiron's in Pisces. No, it's not going back to Pisces. I mean, it goes forward. You follow? Yeah. I know it's retrograding, but it doesn't leave Aries. You follow? It doesn't go that far. It doesn't leave Aries. But it is going over your second house cusp line. So it was that Chiron and the Fortuna stuff and the Cheroklo there. And those were the two things that I saw where I thought, because it's my values. Chiron wound going over the values. And you've listed that you've got a few things. Steffi G. Steffi G's looking for witchcraft. I don't think it's witchcraft. Witchcraft to keep carpenter ants from biting me in my sleep. You might want to just get yourself a good exterminator. Do you know what I'm saying? That might be all you need. Oh, no, I agree on that too about the exterminator. What about what Kat's recommended? Not only that, but if you find a good exterminator, I used to have a friend who, it was connected through a job I had. And that's what he did. That was his job. He was the exterminator. So he would just do everything, all the businesses everywhere. And he would do a lot of very practical stuff because he was just really good at what he did. So usually those people have a lot of knowledge, especially if you can find one who's kind of like working for himself, because then they don't have to, they're not going by their, the whole corporate stuff. They're their own businessman. And so sometimes, like I said, they can be full of information and give you a lot of good tips. And I haven't talked to that person in a long ass time, but he always had some really good advice. Because I had a friend who, this is going to sound really strange because I just thought it was bizarre. So I had a friend who would say that she had a problem with mice. And I thought, oh, well, it's a problem with mice. Okay. So she said, no, you don't understand. It's not normal. And I said, well, what do you mean? I'll ask my exterminator buddy and I'll see what he says. And she said, well, I keep finding mice in my car. I said, you're finding mice in your car? She's like, yeah. And a lot of times they're dead. I'm finding dead mice in my car. And I'm like, what the hell? You're finding dead mice in the car? And she said, yeah. And I'm so tired of it. And she would say like it happens every fall or something. It starts to get cold outside, and sure enough, there was no dead mice in the hubby's car, but there'd be dead mice in her car, right? And so it would happen for like a month or something. I don't know. And so I asked my friend. I said, "Okay, here's the deal, right?" And so I told him, and he would say, "Oh, she just needs bleach." And I said, "What?" He said, "She just needs some bleach." I said, "What the hell is she going to do with the bleach?" And I thought he was going to say something like she needs to wash her car inside and out and bleach it down or some crazy shit. And I thought, okay, where's he headed with this? So he said, no, what happens is every year that habit has been created and they have a trail, literally, even though it's a year old, they have this trail that they follow. And the only way to get rid of that trail is all she needs to do from where she parks her car is like spray that whole area with bleach and get rid of the trail. Get rid of the trail. Because your car has like these little a mouse. This was what kind of freaked me out too. Let me get this little tool real quick. Like a pencil, the width of a pencil. Right. I mean, look at that. Right? You look at that and it's like that's not that big. But that amount of space, right? Their little body just collapses, so when they're sliding in under doors and through these little cracks and shit, their skeletal frame just and they just like in the cartoons. Exactly. Remember the old school Mickey and Minnie? Yeah. Remember those cartoons, the black and whites? They would show them where they would, and it's like that's exactly what they do. So his point was, it's not so much the automobile, it's any automobile, but and why hers and not his? Because they've created that damn trail and the scent is still there. And so it's always, whether it's a new mouse family, whatever it is, they're going there for shelter. So she did it. She did the bleach thing and it worked like a charm. And she didn't have to pay a dime to anybody to come out and do anything. And I was like, it worked. And he was a total exterminator geek. Like this, it was like he was born for this job. So it was really interesting. I know, right? 12 months, every 12 months. I know. I was like, I knew he knew his shit. I knew he wasn't like pulling her, because he's very serious about stuff like that. But, oh, wasps nesting in your car. Wow. I just saw another in the bathroom and freaked. Oh, sorry. Well, a lot of times you can get some stuff. I think, God, I'm talking like as if I've just recently done this. I don't know, but way back in the day, I know there's stuff you can like put around your foundation outside the home. But if you have pets, I don't know. Who knows? I've power washed them out 3 times. They come back, even if I park elsewhere. Did you use bleach? I know, right? I don't know. I'm just, yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah. All right. I think we are done for the night, kids. I think we're all set. I use vinegar. Well, no, you use what you got. But if the problem is still persisting, try the damn bleach. Yeah. Get a shoe and whack them. You're right. They just keep coming. Cinnamon and peppermint on my bed tonight. I know carpenter ants are no joke, though. Yeah. That sounds just super, yeah, super uncomfortable. Super uncomfortable. All right, kiddies, we're done. I'm out of here. It's 11:21. Short night, very slow night, and I'm so grateful for it. All right, let me get my thing up here, and I will see you guys next week. Remember, if you want in on the Starry Night Live private lives, August is already full. I think I have a couple openings for September. I have to check my stuff. I have to check for who's already signed up and all that. And then, yeah, if you're interested, allastrology@gmail.com. The email is below in the details. It is a private, limited space group. Let me know if you want in. Till then, see you all next time. Take care and thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Listen.